the storm with your heart. Play the storm with your heart.
And one time. But let's get to the pro games. Let's get to the association, the NBA. And so, Ja Morant, I don't understand this. The NBA gave him an 8-game suspension, right? And they said, well, he only has to miss, I think, a few more games because he already served. Yeah, he already served like 5 or 6 of them. And I'm just like, what? How soft can you be? But I'm not mad, though, because I need the Grizzlies to win. I need them to win. So I'm not mad at it at all.
Wait, why do you need the Grizzlies to win?
Because, number one, the Lakers, if they get to the 6th seed, right, they could potentially play the Grizzlies in the first round. That is a big if. Or I don't want the Suns, I don't want the Clippers to get that 3rd spot. That's what I don't want to happen.
I thought y'all better than the Clippers, though.
I want the Clippers and the Suns to play each other in the first round, knock each other, knock one of them out so we don't have to worry about them later. So I want that to happen. And so I want the Grizzlies to remain in the 3rd or the 2nd spot. Because that way, if the Lakers are able to, go on a run a little bit and get to that 6th spot, 7th spot, then they'll be able to play either of those two, and I like my chances a lot better. So that's just the way I'm looking at it.
Running from the grind.
Man, we're not running from the grind, man. I'm just saying, I prefer. I like the percentages better if we play the Grizzlies or the Kings rather than the Suns and the
I don't know,
Clippers.
man. The Kings. Hey.
No, they can hoop, but they can't guard nobody.
True.
We beat them before the trade. So, I mean, they're not invincible. But they are good. They are nice though. But yeah, so Ja Morant, back to Ja Morant. So he did an interview with Jalen Rose, right? And I don't know. It's just awkward.
It sounded
as hell.
like a FBI interview or something. I'm not watching. It sounded like he had a gun pointed to him to say this stuff.
It was so awkward as hell. You could tell.
It sounded scripted.
It was very, very scripted. It didn't sound very genuine at all. So I was
They
just
should have
like,
put him on the Pivot podcast in order to do that. At least it would have been authentic.
Yeah, it didn't feel very authentic at all. It felt very scripted. And I don't know why Jalen Rose would ask him the question. Maybe Ja Morant wanted him to ask him the question, but about the guns and is it his or not? Like, what do you expect him to say? Yeah, those are mine. Like, really? Like, what are we doing here? So, just so awkward, man, the situation. I'm glad Ja will be back on the court. I don't want to see a star player having to miss significant amount of time. It's bad for business. It's bad for us as fans as well. I just hopefully he learned his lesson. Hopefully he will mature from this situation because there's a lot on his shoulders and the NBA needs him. So, yeah, man. Oh, God. It's just crazy.
They had my son up there looking bad too. He ain't even had no lineup, no haircut or nothing. I said, "Oh man, they doing him dirty."
They try to act like he's been through it all, honey. And then all them the little Twitter they show like old posts to him. I don't know how real some of those posts were. Oh shit, ESPN. I don't know how real those posts were about him. If you saw, like, it was like posting him when he was like a little kid. I don't know if you saw them or
those
not.
Instagram pictures?
Yeah.
Those are real.
Those are real?
Yeah.
Was the captions real?
Yeah.
Those were actually his?
Yeah. You can look it up right now.
I thought that was fake.
No.
I thought those were people.
The page is still up.
What?
Yeah.
So he just got a new account.
Yeah, I believe so.
Man, that's crazy. That is so crazy. Yeah, Ja Morant. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, it's real. See.
What? I can't believe that's his.
Yeah.
Why did he delete it?
I don't know why he didn't delete it.
That's just wow. Maybe he got
why
hacked.
He have 80K followers, y'all. Man,
that's nasty. That is nasty. Hopefully, Ja Morant can improve from this because it's just bad. And then I remember Powerade. They were gonna release a video commercial for him, but they pulled it because of everything that was transpiring legally and also being suspended as well. So get well, Ja Morant.
Yeah, those captions are 100%. Look at this.
Yeah, I don't know what he was on. I don't know what was going
He
on.
was
in
like
him.
12.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on.
And I've said some questionable stuff at 12 too. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah. So MVP. I was watching the 76ers versus Cavaliers game, and Joel Embiid had a masterclass. He went on a masterclass performance, and I'm not gonna lie, Joel Embiid might have overtaken Jokic. I think
Yes.
it's fair. I think it's finally official that Joel Embiid is in the lead because, first of all, the defense he did against the Cavaliers, I think he blocked like 4 shots. He was sensational from both ends. And when you look at Jokic, he's great on the offense, but when it comes to defense, you can hunt him. And so just your reaction to Joel Embiid being, I think he might be either tied for the odds-on favorite.
I think they
or
say he
is
was the
odds-on favorite. Just your reaction to the news.
The people are finally starting to wake up. I've been fighting a good fight for a long time. I'd rather Giannis win it, but you know what? Finals MVP it will suit it better. But people are finally starting to see that this MVP campaign is fraudulent, and that we need to factor defense into the equation. So yes, I'm 100% for Embiid winning the MVP. If he continues to keep this up, I'm not in the business of giving away pity MVPs. Like, here, finally, take your MVP and go. No, I want it to be earned, and I want the best player to win.
Interesting take, and I agree with you on that one. It's very close. It's really, literally, it's like neck and neck. Like each game, it can change. So. It'll be interesting to see. I got money on both of them. I prefer Jokic. Hopefully that he can win it because I have more money on Jokic than I do Joel Embiid.
Don't
and I
gamble,
can win,
kids.
And I can win. And I can win more money if Jokic win it than Embiid. So Jokic, please, Nuggets, please win some damn games. But yeah, speaking on just the
Gambling is bad.
It is bad, but damn it, it's good when you win. So it is what it is. But yeah, so the 76ers, right? Speaking of Joel Embiid and just the 76ers, I think they are like right there with Boston for the 2nd seed. And Boston has been nosediving. They have really been struggling. Like, they lost to Houston.
Yeah.
Like, wow. Like, really? Houston? Like, one of the worst teams in the league, and they had Tatum. I think they had Brown too. So it's been really bad for Boston, and all of a sudden, I think one of the reasons why the Philadelphia 76ers and Joel Embiid's MVP case is starting to rise is because, number one, they're winning games. They're winning a lot of games, and they have the potential to be number 2 seed. So, and they also, I think they have the same record as the Nuggets as well. So I think you have to take that in consideration. So how do you feel about just the Celtics struggling right now? Like, what is going on?
I'll tell you what's going on. The Celtics are good, but the Sixers are like 2 games behind.
Oh, 2 games behind. Well, they're still right there.
Yeah. Celtics are 48 and 22. Sixers are 46 and 22. But they do have this. And Nuggets are 47 and 23. But the Celtics problem, I don't watch enough of the Celtics to really tell you what exactly their problem is. But I just think this guy's not stepping up, really.
There's one guy that's not stepping up.
Who, Tatum?
Your guy.
My guy.
Yeah, your guy.
I've been calling him a fake Kobe disciple for the past year.
Oh my God, dude! It's just, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on with Tatum. Brown, he's been hooping, but it's just Tatum. He's just erratic, like up and down, up and down, up and down. I'm just like, they crowned you as a superstar. Like, every time people crown him as a superstar, it just seems like he starts
sneaking up the joint.
Inconsistent. Yeah, inconsistent. I'm like, what's going on? So,
like, look at his last 2 performances against Minnesota. 4 for 16, 8 for 12 against Houston. it's just not consistent.
Yeah, and then Philly, they're in the same loss column as Boston. They just Boston's played 2 more games than them.
Yeah.
So essentially, they're like literally right there. But Boston I think they have the tiebreaker because they've beaten Philly twice already, or 3 times, whatever it is. So yeah, Philly, if they keep this up, they could very well be a top 2 seed. And I heard some other things about just Joe Mazzulla and just him, and I remember it was something about him calling a timeout at like the wrong time. I remember it was during, I forgot what game it was. So him being there, I have heard problems about him. Marcus Smart also not stepping up as well. His play has been erratic as well. So yeah, like you said, guys are not stepping up. Guys that you think that are supposed to be good, they're not doing their thing, and so it's a problem. It really is, because they have championship aspirations and they need to get together, or else Boston, Philly, or Milwaukee going to bounce them out in 5 or 6.
You know, I'm kind of glad that the Bucks, even though they're the first 50-win team in the league, they're kind of flying under the radar a little bit. I needed to stay like this, because if they get the media hype and go outside, my agenda is finished.
Interesting you said that. I don't, flying under the radar, are they really flying under the radar?
No one cares about Wisconsin teams.
Stop it. So you think that, because I've heard NBA basketball analysts saying that a team in the Eastern Conference is going to win the championship. And so I don't think the Bucks are necessarily flying under the radar. I think NBA analysts believe that the Bucks are playing the best basketball. And I've heard that they said the Bucks are playing the best basketball, and they're probably the favorites. So I don't see any other team really competing with them that much. I just think that, and then Middleton's play. Middleton has started to get together, and so the Bucks just look so good, man. Jay Crowder.
The problem with Middleton is he plays like his usual self, then he stinks up the joint the next game. We need consistent performances. The playoffs is right around the corner.
Mm-hmm. Jay Crowder, that move for Jay Crowder has done wonders for them.
It moves. It's a needle mover.
And then Giannis, he's always going to do his thing. And Holiday, I think one of the things that makes them just so dangerous, I feel like Holiday, like, he's really stepped up his play since he's been there. Like, the first year, he was okay. Like, he was really good. But this year, he's like all-star level, and he's really stepped up his game. And
I'm sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
You know what is one of the most important aspects of the team?
Yeah. What?
They have things. They have 2 things. Well, they have a thing that majority of teams in the NBA don't. They just don't have.
What?
They have perimeter and interior defensive presence.
When
you can guard the perimeter and the interior on elite levels, you're going to win majority of your games.
They have.
Brook Lopez is a defensive player of the year candidate. Drew Holiday, he's always defensive guy. And then you got Giannis playing help defense, pretty much being a free safety out there.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to score on.
They have 3-and-D guys. They have interior guys that can block shots. It's dangerous. It's very rare that you see a team where they have not only guys that can guard the perimeter, but guys that can defend the paint, and that's what makes them so dangerous. And they have guys that can shoot as well.
Yeah.
So, and they have guys that can put the ball on the floor. Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton. So that's what makes the Bucks so dangerous, and that's why they're probably going to go into the finals again. And so, yeah, Giannis might get a second ring. It's looking very likely, just barring any injuries, of course.
But they're a bad matchup for a lot of playoff teams.
Mm-hmm. I do think that Philly is going to be very difficult for them. But I still have Bucks for sure.
Yeah.
But Philly, they played very well against them. So, yeah, man. The NBA.
But on the Western Conference, honestly, unless it's like the Suns or the Lakers, I think they stomp anybody on the West.
I agree because the West, just looking at the Clippers per se, the Clippers, they don't have a point guard that can distribute. They don't have a point guard that you can really rely on in a series that can shoot the ball effectively, right? And then Bones Highland, you can't really play him. Russ, his play in a playoff setting, you can't really trust him. So it's a lot of question marks when it comes to the guard position. And Kawhi is always going to do his thing. Paul George is going to do his thing. Well,
you can take Paul George out the game.
Yeah. Paul George.
I'll be like, Drew, go follow Paul George.
Right.
Let Kawhi cook, but we're going to limit everything else.
Zubac, he's solid, but at the end of the day, he has his limitations. And Marcus Morris, he's sort of declined a little bit. He's not the same guy he once was in 2020. So there's a lot of things, and then also like I feel like besides Kawhi and like Paul George, well Trey Man, he can play some defense. He's really good.
Trey Man.
I said Trey Man. Terrence Man. Short. Terrence Man, he could play really good defense, but he's limited offensively. So besides him and like Kawhi and PG, their defense is not really too much to really talk about per se. Like they can be had. And because in 2020, what made them so dangerous is that you look everywhere around the floor, you see guys that can play defense. And I feel like nowadays it's not like that. Especially, and then Kawhi's injuries, Paul George injuries, it makes it a lot harder for them to consistently play defense on elite level. But they can still do it though. But I'm just not sold. I'm just not. But yeah, the Western Conference is just, I don't know. It's chaos. It really is, because I'm looking at the standings right now, and like the Lakers. First of all, the Lakers, they better win the next 5 games. Like there's no excuse.
Who y'all got,
bro? We have, I think. Let me see. Beatable games. We had the Mavericks without Luka. Oh, yeah. We have the Magic, and then we have, let's see, Wednesday. We have the Suns with no KD. No depth at all. Should win that game. There is no excuse for the Lakers to not go 5-0. Like literally, that's
I can see y'all dropping one to Chicago.
All right, maybe Chicago. I say probably the Suns. I say
the Suns. Oh, I ain't even hear you say the Suns.
I say the only game I see we lose that if we do fall one game, I say it's the Suns because they
Bev revenge game against the Bulls.
I'm not. No. It's just like the Suns, because they always get up against us for some reason. So that's the only game I could really see us losing. Every other game, there's no excuse. You should win that game, and they better go 5-0. I'm gonna be mad because it's just like, dude, you're at home, 5-game home.
Oh, it's a home stand?
Yeah, it's a home stand. So it's like, all right, bro, like let's get it together. It's time to get on a run. Let's get over 500 because it's getting ridiculous. Like every time we're about to hit 500, we lose. Oh. We sit out Anthony Davis. Like, it's time to get it together and let's get it popping because all these other teams are not better than us, and there's no excuse. But, yeah, the rest of the NBA standings, like the Mavericks, like the Minnesota Timberwolves, the OKC Thunder, the Utah Jazz, the like, all these teams are, like, really, like, neck and neck. The Warriors, I'm very concerned about them because they're, like, on a road. They're on the road for, like, the next, like, few games and stuff. And we already saw against the Clippers, them struggling. Curry dropped 50, and they weren't able to get the job done. And so the Warriors, I'm very concerned. Andrew Wiggins, I saw this clip of this guy.
That man making up stuff.
I don't know if that's real. If that's true, that's crazy.
I ain't believing that. Where did this guy even come from? What's his credentials?
And why was he in like
the Starbucks or something? What, like, come on, bro. Like,
why is he out in public saying this stuff? Like, that's kind of crazy. But if it is true, that is kind of nuts. But I'm not going to believe it until Andrew Wiggins says it himself. So, wow. Yeah, the Warriors,
it needs to be studied. We need critical research done on why the Warriors suck so much on the road.
Well,
but they're nearly unbeatable at home.
I don't know. That's a great. Well, you know how it is being comfortable at home versus being uncomfortable on the road. You know, you have a certain routine that you like to do, and I guess when it comes to the Warriors, some of these Warrior players are just uncomfortable being in those road environments, and they don't play up. They just don't. Curry shows up, Klay shows up, but everybody else doesn't show up, and so I'm not mad at it. I'm happy. Please keep losing on the road.
Yeah, because nobody wants to see the Warriors in the playoffs.
And no Andrew Wiggins. It's gonna be a big problem. But yeah, the West is just crazy right now, and it's gonna come down the wire, and I can't wait. Hopefully the Lakers.
We're finally in the weak West era.
Yeah.
The West supremacy reign has ended.
You know, it's funny. It's funny how the West gets weak when LeBron joins, and the East gets good when LeBron leaves. Isn't that something?
Yeah,
That's interesting, right?
It's funny because you could argue that the West still has more talent than the East.
But the teams stink.
Yeah, which is interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. But, yeah, all right, so let's go. Let's see here. What else do we have on the docket? So, Damian Lillard, this was interesting. There was like this video of Damian Lillard going on social media, and he was pretty much talking about just the state of the NBA today compared to when he first came in the league. I thought it was interesting because Dame, he's been in the league for like 10 years. It's been a decade. If people don't realize, they're like, damn, you think 2013 wasn't too long ago, but that was 10 years ago. And
crazy.
He just talked about the attitude, the way that people think, the NBA players think nowadays, and he just doesn't like it. Also, ring culture and everything like that. I thought it was very interesting.
I hate that term so much. ring culture. Like, dog, the whole point of the sport is to win. When did rings never matter in any sport? Like, I don't understand. But go on.
But I think what he was trying to talk about is that, and I think he talked about it too, is that people don't care about the journey no more. They care about the destination. And remember, we talked about March Madness, and it's like, I don't care about the journey. I don't care about you playing on a Friday in December. I don't care about them ACC tournaments. Let's get to March Madness. And I think he's probably talking, the way he's talking is like how we talked about March Madness, and now it's like, oh, did you make the finals? Did you win the chip? And I agree with him that a lot of these NBA analysts, a lot of these media people have sort of turned their attention to more so, oh, did you win a ring? And if you didn't win a ring, it doesn't really matter. You're a bum. Like with Chris Paul, like people talk about Chris Paul, and it's like, oh, well, he didn't win a ring, so he's not a top 5 PG all time. He's
Only
not better
idiots
than this,
say that.
He's not better than this guy all time. And with Damian Lillard, it's the same can be applied. Like, dude is averaging 30-plus points per game. He's all NBA first team, and people are like, what has Damian Lillard done? Like, he hasn't done anything in his career. Like, you see people on Twitter saying, well, Damian Lillard hasn't done anything. I don't know what you're talking about. And I remember Damian Lillard, he replied to that person laughing and stuff. It's just stupid people like that did try to discredit what Damian Lillard has done because he hasn't won a ring, because he hasn't won an MVP. It's just dumb to me. It really is.
It is.
And it just brings the fun. It's not more. The fun goes away from the NBA game when people like to discredit players who haven't won a ring, and that's just wrong because it wasn't like this way a decade ago. It wasn't at all. Like a decade ago, you would think that not a lot of things have changed in only 10 years. A lot of things have changed. 10 years ago, people weren't talking about Karl Malone being a nasty you-know-what. 10 years ago, John Stockton was respected. Remember the Dream Team documentary? People were looking at John Stockton and Karl Malone as all-time greats. They weren't saying, oh, they didn't win a ring. Now, Charles Barkley, because of Shaq, he was making fun of him, saying you didn't win a ring. For the most part, legends like that, people respected. Clyde Drexler, guys like that. Now it's just, well, we don't really care about them because they didn't win a ring. And I understand that. Like, it's just crazy. It blows my mind. It really does. And he also talked about just the absence of veterans on the team, right? He said that he had, like, I forgot who it was on the squad, and this one guy was like 40 years old. This other guy was like 35, 36 years old. And we don't have a lot of that. Look at the Grizzlies. They need somebody like that. And yeah, it's just so much stuff. The 3-point line being really emphasized and stuff. And it was just interesting. I don't know if you watched the whole clip or whatever.
I ain't see it at all.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
But you heard? Did you at least hear about it? I know it was like really trending, but
I did hear about it. I just didn't see the clip.
But yeah, that was pretty much what he was just talking about in terms of just the comparisons and stuff like that.
I mean, he's right.
He really, it's just 2013 was just such a different time, man. And the Warriors, I wouldn't even say it's the Warriors. It was the Rockets that ruined it. It was really the Rockets. It wasn't the Warriors to me. I think the Warriors, because they shot mid-range shots. Like, they were balanced. I think what the Warriors did, they made it to where you don't have to rely on a big to score. You don't have to rely on, getting, like, paint points as much. You could just shoot jumpers all day. But what the Rockets did, they took it to a whole nother level. They're like, we're not going to shoot no mid-range shots. Just free throw line. It's going to be 3-point shots or get a layup. But the Warriors, they were like, we're just going to shoot jumpers no matter where on the floor. And the Rockets, to me, with James Harden, listen, I respect James, but that was not fun basketball to watch.
It really wasn't.
Oh, and then, like, I'm seeing these Harden fans.
11 seconds of ISO, then a step back.
It was just like, nasty.
We're not moved.
I just didn't enjoy it at all. I like the whole 50 points. Like, I think 4 straight 50-point games he had, that whole stretch where he kept scoring 40, kept scoring 30. That was cool, but it was not fun basketball to watch, seeing a guy dribble, step back, cross, step back. Like, come on now, man.
And foul and ref bait.
Like, yeah. Like, dude, there was literally
guys. Borderline travel.
Like, dude, I remember the Lakers were playing the Rockets. He literally had his hands behind him because he didn't want to foul Chris Paul and James Harden because they kept foul baiting.
I see
that was the nastiest. Even LeBron James was doing
Oh
it.
my god.
Oh my no, Kevin Durant.
KD, he was the one who really.
That shit was annoying too.
Yeah.
Oh my god, because he would get a
through.
free throw every time. I was just like, come on now, we got to do something about it. And they did, where instead of getting free throw, they would just say, okay, on the floor or whatever.
Right.
So I'm glad about that. But it was still James Harden and Chris Paul would get those calls, and I was just like, come on, man. Like, why do they keep doing this?
Hopefully they get the stiff arm next. I'm sick and tired of Jason Tatum. Every time he drives to do his little pull-up, he pushes off. And Giannis, you do it too now.
Joel Embiid got away with it too. Remember the Cavs game, they called a offensive foul on him. But then they looked at the review and Adam Silver made the call. He was like, "You're not about to get Embiid out of this game on ESPN." Made the call and said, "Okay, it's overturned. You can come back." I was just like, "What?"
They need to abolish the stiff arm.
He clearly extended his arm like, okay, whatever. But yeah, so it's just some things. Dame's right. He's absolutely right. But at the same time,
yeah, there was no load management for real back in the day.
But at the same time, he's also delusional. He really is, because he's saying like nobody. I think he said something about Michael Jordan in terms of I think he said people not thinking about Mike or something like that. It's some stuff he said in there where I was just scratching my head like, okay, you're out of touch. You clearly out of touch, because some of the things you're saying is just ridiculous. He's saying, well, if I leave Portland and go to another team and win a chip, you're just gonna say I'm just ring chasing. I'm just like, dude, what are you saying? Like if
no, I don't think
I don't think
anyone
people would
with
care.
a brain would say you're ring chasing.
He thinks
it's not like the Trailblazers tried everything in their power to get you a ring. So who would say that?
People are saying run from the grind. Literally, people on Twitter are saying it's okay, Dame, run from the grind. Like, I don't understand. He's so out of touch. He really is. As long as you don't do what Kevin Durant did, then it's okay. We don't care.
Listen, Dame. We got a spot for you in Milwaukee. You know what I'm saying?
Right, you can chill out.
Hey,
you can chill out.
play with the best in the world.
Nah, we got a spot in LA for you, Lakers. You feel me?
No, y'all good with D'Lo. Y'all don't need him. Y'all
No. We could always upgrade. You know, what I'm
y'all
saying?
good with D'Lo.
We could always upgrade. hey man, you know, we could trade AD, get Dame. It's like, nah, I'm just playing. But yeah, it's just the ring culture is just crazy.
I put my life in these sentences. Fucking right, it's either that or life sentences. I'm relatives with Benjamin. I used to give a fuck about my luck when I was innocent. Now what the fuck is up? I'm at your neck like a Pendleton nigga.